KZ106 is bringing the fun in 2021 with the return of the 25K Workday Payday. Sponsored by Granite Garage Floors of Chattanooga. Get rules and info online at KZ106.com.
All right, let's drop that. Bring us in. See, I figured this out. It only took me, how many weeks have we been doing this? 62 weeks. I finally figured it out.
How's it going, you guys? Happy on a Friday? I am.
Absolutely.
I'm looking out the windows. I see the sun shining right now. A little breezy out there. I'll take it, though. It's better than a rainy, cold Friday afternoon. We'll roll with it.
No, it's beautiful.
It is. It really is. It's beautiful, gorgeous. Man, can you believe it's May? I mean, we're right on top of May. A day or so away from May. That's just
one
nuts.
day. Tomorrow is May.
Tomorrow, it's gonna be May. 3 people got that, by the way. Anybody? Nobody. Okay.
No crickets.
That's for all the people under the age of 30 out there that are listening right now.
Okay.
Which is like one person. Yeah. Maybe.
Grow up.
Okay. Anyway, that's a meme that you'll see on your Facebook page filtering around every once in a while today. But anyway, one day away from May, we're turning into a month that has, Kentucky Derby, Memorial Day, which I didn't realize. I forgot. I always forget holidays, but Memorial Day is not that far away. So we're closing in on the Memorial Day 500. So that's kind of something. I was flipping through some things that we had done over the last year. And I was like, oh, man, we're closing in on the 500. That's almost here. That'll be fun. That's in the month of May. What else do we have? Mother's Day, obviously, coming up.
Excuse me, the biggest holiday.
Kelly's birthday is in May.
Hey! Did I skip past that on?
Yes, you did.
Well, we'll celebrate that accordingly, I'm sure.
Of course.
Have you been to the Derby? You live close enough up there. You grew up. Have you ever been to the Kentucky Derby?
I've been to Churchill Downs. I've not been to the Derby itself, though. I'm not a horse racing guy, but I know the party is all on the infield, and that's what it's all about. It's the 7 minutes or whatever how many minutes it takes to run the horses is kind of just secondary to the party that goes on. But no, I've not had a chance to go to the actual Derby and enjoy that.
You know why, Scott? He hasn't found his proper hat yet.
It's interesting. At Churchill Downs that day, the diversity of dress, because there are people in the wow, and then there are people at the party that are dressed way down. So depending upon where you go at Churchill Downs that day, you might run into somebody that would be like me with their shirt off down there watching Cheap Trick, or might run into somebody that's got the nice, wonderful, beautiful hat, and the great looking colored green jacket or whatever it might be. So good time, always a good time.
It's interesting, too, because Churchill Downs, like a lot of venues, like a lot of stadiums, especially the older stadiums, is in the middle of downtown Louisville, and it's not in the best part of town. It's just kind of weirdly placed. And it's just, you think it's going to be out in the middle of a pasture somewhere in the rolling hills of Kentucky, and you're like, nope, it's in downtown Louisville, and it's just, it's right there. Okay.
Yeah, some of the locals then are making money parking cars where people can be close enough to walk to the racetrack. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but true. All right. Yeah, but good time. Bill Lockhart and I went a time or two and had some
really
plans.
That's surprising.
Well, no, I've had our share of fun.
It seems like a lot of stories start with Bill Lockhart and I.
Yeah. How could that be?
Usually it's Bill Lockhart and I and drinks of choice, but I've just cut that off a little earlier there just to make it a little more censored.
Yeah, the mint juleps. Mint juleps will be flowing tomorrow in Louisville for sure. And you like mint juleps?
Nope.
I'm not a big fan, but after about half dozen, they taste pretty good.
Isn't that the way with everything, though?
After you get past the first 2 or 3,
these things are good.
Just keep them coming. I don't mind. Don't notice it at all. That's fun. That's one of those things a lot of people enjoy, and that's never been my thing, but a lot of people really get behind that. They make big parties of it. They enjoy it, and they do the whole big thing. And if that's what you're up to, then hey, enjoy.
Exactly.
And so I was online today, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I don't know why it popped up for me on YouTube. But it was Queen had put together like a series of just small video episodes of kind of a historical look back over the band. And I thought it was really cool. And I thought I would share, kind of the fact that it's out there and maybe, let people know that you can go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on their official Queen YouTube page. But they're going through things like, early albums, a couple of songs that hit, some of the early tours. Just Queen as a whole is always one of those bands that fascinates me. And you can sit there and just watch so much, and the talent in that band as a whole. And one of the episodes was based on Roger Taylor. and the fact that he had written some songs later on in the years for Queen. And you just always, a lot of people tend to think of Freddie Mercury and Brian May with Queen, but they forget about John Deacon and Roger Taylor, and just how ultimately talented that band as a whole was.
Yeah.
Love to see some. I did not know that stuff was out there, but I'll watch it because you're right. That was wow, and just incredibly talented guys.
Just a heads up, because I stumbled across this. I'm a huge fan of Alan Alda, of course, who played Hawkeye on MASH for years and was my childhood crush. He does a podcast called Clear and Present, Clear and Vivid. Yeah, that's what it is. But he interviewed Brian May on his podcast, and not only talking about, the music, but also the fact that he's an astrophysicist and, and getting his PhD, and how, he was trying to go and get his doctorate, and then all of a sudden he had put this little band together on the side, and they started getting gigs, and so he put his doctorate on hold for 20 years and went out on tour, and then came back and finished it. And I mean, NASA consults him, and it's fascinating. But that was a really cool listen. So if you get a chance to check that out, it's wherever you get your podcast. But yeah, check that out. It's a good listen.
You always have been a big Alan Alda fan. I remember from years back, since I've known you. That's the case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry. There's not a day that goes by if I'm flipping around on the TV and I see a MASH rerun. Well,
You don't watch
30 minutes is spoken for. Granted, I can usually do the dialogue word for word with them, but yeah.
Is that not the ultimate flex for Brian May? It's like the guy's a killer guitarist, songwriter, vocalist. Because I mean, if you watched it, I love the performance that he did filling in, on some vocals during the Freddie Mercury tribute concert. People forget how good vocally he was. But also go ahead and throw in the fact that, the astrophysicist thing, just showing everybody up, it's like, what else do I do? What else do I need to do? I mean, if this rock and roll thing doesn't work out, I guess I'll just, go be high paying scientist that everybody yells, requests. Just
overachieve much?
Yeah, really. Yeah. Like, what does he not do well? I'm wondering what, that would be my first question to Brian May if I ever talked to him. I was like, okay, what are you not good at? He's going to be like, I'm a scratch golfer. I fix cars in my spare time. I build houses for the underprivileged. I mean, it's like, just tell me something you're not good at. That's all I need to know. But those, if you're online at YouTube, go check those out. It's really interesting. There was one though that I thought was really interesting. There was a kid in Finland that was and I say kid because it was probably 12-year-old kid. That when Queen was starting off, he heard one of the songs on the radio at one point. It wasn't one of the radio hits. That it kind of struck with him, and as a child, he was like, that's a song I really love. I really enjoy that. And he was like, I'm going to go talk to that band. And so he literally, and this is the day and age in which you could do that. So he picks up the phone and he calls EMI Finland, like the music distributor there in Finland. And like, he's like, I'm sure they didn't have any contact, but they put him in contact with somebody down the line. And they're like, yeah, sure. Come to the press conference. And I'm sure you can get some autographs from the band. And so he did. And he took his little cassette recorder with him. And he's like, the funny thing is he didn't know anything about the band with the exception of that one song. So he's talking to him about just random things. They're like, have you ever heard the music? And he's like, no, I've never heard the music, but what kind of candy do you like? It's the funniest thing. And he went on to a big radio career and has met a ton of other superstars over the course of his career. But he's like, that meeting of Freddie Mercury that one time is still the coolest, best memory that I've got ever in my career.
Well, I guess so, though. Wow. Can you imagine how cool that was? Wow.
I don't even know what I would ask them, much less. I mean, granted, it's a little bit before they were big, giant mega stars, but I have no clue what I would ask any of the members of Queen at this point, much less being a 12-year-old that's trying to figure out something to talk to them about.
They probably got a big kick out of it.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just something different, but that's on YouTube and you can go check that out there. One of the other things I ran across an article, I don't think it was on like loudwire.com or something like that, talking about like movie moments, rock and roll movie moments. What are some of your favorite rock and roll movie moments from any movie? I mean, you mentioned MASH, which, isn't necessarily rock and roll, but there are some moments of MASH that certainly were music related. Yeah. Of course, the theme song was a very popular song. And so what are some of those movie moments that you guys remember when you're like, that's one of those rock and roll scenes, a rock and roll moment that stands out?
don't know if there's a particular moment, but I think one of my favorite rock and roll movies, if you will, is the movie FM. Which was all about the radio station and Eileen Brennan playing Mother, and that whole genre. That it was just so cool. When you watched it back in the day, and I remember sitting in the theater like 3 times watching it, over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, probably wasn't the greatest movie, but it certainly made an impression on me, as you can tell. So,
Scott?
Yeah.
I don't know. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, man. I like that one a bunch. Always got a big kick out of it, start to finish. Some bunch of rock songs in it that I dug.
I can't hear Moving in Stereo without thinking about that movie right away. The minute that song kicks in and those synths kick in, boom, right there.
Yeah.
And all right. How can you forget all the rock moments in that movie, man?
Dazed and Confused, yeah. Does anybody think of Matthew McConaughey as anything else but the all right guy? I think it's
look at everything he's done. Everything he's done. The speeches that are just wow. He says these words and puts them together in 5 minutes. You walk away thinking that was beautiful. All right. That's what he did the first time.
I just really think there's like a bracket of people, like depending on what age you think of him as something, whether it's, from some of his movie film roles or recent, what's the one, the podcast that turned into a movie, the series, I can't remember now, that became really popular over the last year or two. My mind's gone blank, but I always think, it goes straight back to Dazed and Confused. It's like every time I see him, it's just like, all right.
Doors movie. I like the
Doors movie's good.
Yeah.
Blues Brothers is one that think about rock and roll, kind of a little bit of a blues feel to it. That's always fun. I always love. Of course, I've gone. I Am a Golden God. I've gone blank now. All of a sudden, the one with Chris Robinson's wife. Almost Famous.
Hudson,
Almost Famous.
Almost Famous. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's one of my favorites. I love that movie top to bottom. I can watch that over and over again. I think partly because of the rock and roll, and I just love the journey through it as well. I mean, it's that whole kind of what I was talking about with the Kid Queen. It's like that whole being exposed to something that you're not familiar with and getting the curtain pulled back a little bit. That's
when that Elton John song is playing on the bus, and they're all singing it. And you think to yourself, we've heard that song, and I love that song. And there's the other thing. There are songs that we have played for years and years and years that every time I hear them, I love them still. And can you imagine when a song was new and fresh and you hadn't even heard it but a few times and then singing it together on the bus? When I see that movie and I see that moment, I think about things just like that.
Yeah,
that one gives me chills every time. I agree. Let's see how we not mention Spinal Tap? Got to mention Spinal Tap. Getting lost in the bottom of the arena. I mean, we've been in the bottom of a few arenas before. And it is strikingly familiar sometimes when you start walking around. You're like, where did that corridor go? That one? So you could easily see those bands getting lost. Wayne's World, Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was talking to a guy about not walking around but walking around the venue. And it was Chuck Wilkins, who we worked with, Kelly McCoy. And I don't know. Is he there? No. So he's retired now, just hanging out. But I talked to him a little while back about a buddy of ours who's not doing that well. But we talked about all the things that we've done over the years in about 10 minutes or so, the high points. And we talked about the big caravans that we used to take down to Atlanta all the time. We used to and he said, remember we lost that one girl? I go, yes, I do. Yes. At the Omni. And we talked about it, but it's worth bringing up because I'm trying to think what show it was too. And we walked around the Omni twice. It's a ways. And it was, midnight. And we looked and finally said, I guess we're going to have to go. We left, Ooh, she turned out she was okay. But that's, after the show is over, it's a really different time.
I love those. And you guys, I think, had more experiences with this than I did because it was a little more of a free wheelhouse, free reign kind of fun in the 80s, especially in the early 90s as well. I got in the mid 90s, late 90s. So it was starting to kind of become a little less likely to jump on a bus trip. But those things were just insane. You would jump on the bus and you'd be all excited. And about an hour and a half down the road, things start to change. because all of a sudden, and anybody that's been on one of those bus trips knows that the booze started flowing about that point in time, started kicking in. And you're right. By the time you get to the venue, it's like, okay, can you make it there? Do you go inside? Do you just hang out outside? Are people coming back? It's
you never know.
Experience.
You never know. It's always you think, because everybody's got the big, and they're all jacked up right after the show. As soon as they walk out of the show, you're thinking, well, this is going to be a wild trip on the way home. But it never is.
No.
It's
And we got on one going out of Knoxville at one point in time. I just remember somebody started making margaritas in the front seat, like in the front row of the bus. Just started making margaritas and blending them up. I was like, really? I certainly did not come enough prepared for that.
Well, you got right in the zone, though, didn't you? I mean, when they're making margaritas, they're fresh and they're flowing. You got to have one.
Got a little closer to the front. Yep. Started to make friends real quick.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So those are fun. So those are a few movie moments, which kind of leads me to the final topic of the day, drive-in movie theaters. And it kind of ties into something we're doing. We'll be giving away coming up in, let's see, a week or two. My math is right. This couple of weeks. We'll do some tickets to see Bon Jovi at the drive-in up in Athens. And they're doing a big drive-in concert show. Which is kind of things some of the bands have done. They've got an opportunity to film a live performance and they exclusive and they put it out on the drive-through theaters and the movie theaters. And it's kind of fun. But drive-through theaters growing up, we've all been to one, right? We've all enjoyed that experience.
Oh, yeah. There were, my hometown, there were three. There was the the Sunset Drive-In, West Side Drive-In, and the Evansville Drive-In in Evansville, Indiana. I think those were the three. Yeah, we went to all of them all the time. They were fun. Golly, they were fun.
Yeah, we had a bunch of them here back in the day. 23rd Street Drive-In was always fun. That's where I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time. And we had the Rebel.
Was there one in Red Bank? On it seems like when I lived over.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I could be wrong on that. I don't know. That's part of growing up. You just kind of stick to your hometown, your side of the river, and the towns around you. So the one on Lee Highway, the one on 23rd Street, I knew those, but yeah, good times.
Where's the one now here, close to here? What, Wilderness? Is that what, Wilderness Theater? Yeah.
So, and there's one in Tullahoma, I believe. And then the one in Athens. So.
There may be others close, but then there's another. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad there's still some around because those were great moments.
Yeah, I wish they'd build another one.
Yeah, and it makes for a different viewing experience. It totally does. It changes the way that you see things. And granted, yes, you would go have some fun, and the part of the fun of the drive-in was, how could you get in? Whether you're younger and you're sneaking people in to go hang out, or you just go sit in somebody else's car, or whatever. The fun that you had around the experience of it. I remember it as going to the drive-ins down in Atlanta with my grandfather and just popping up on the hood of his truck and just sitting there. And I have no idea what movies we went to see. I could not begin to tell you. But what I do remember is just me and my cousin sitting on top of the truck, just laying back and watching movies. And it was the coolest thing. And it's just one of those great memories. I'd be hard pressed to find a really great memory of going to a movie theater and doing something similar. I mean, they're there, I guess, but it just doesn't seem to ring quite as true.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is close.
No, okay. Yeah.
Because you have to bring the props.
Do they play that like every week here?
Oh yeah. There was a theater over in Eastgate that did it like every Friday or Saturday night at midnight. And so it was like you get your spray bottle, you get your newspaper, you get you get your rice, you get all the accoutrement, and then you go sit and watch the movie and just have a blast.
I don't remember if we've talked about this before or not, but I remember there was one in the theater in Hickson that was right there. What's that cut through? I never can remember the name. That cut through if you go from Hickson Pike to 153 that goes around Home Depot now. That little cut through. There was a movie theater. North Point. Thank you. There was a movie theater right there. And I remember we would always go to that one, and it always had Rocky Horror showing at midnight. I had no idea I was too young to remember or know what the heck Rocky Horror was at that point in time. I'm just like, what is this movie about Rocky Horror? Why are they showing these movies at night? It was every time always showing at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, it was like, getting timed for the weekend. You jump on the landline and you start calling your friends, and it's like, okay, are we going this week? It's like, yeah, I'm in. So, yeah.
You mentioned landlines, and I posted a picture on the Facebook page earlier today or yesterday. I don't remember, but it was just a rotary phone. Do you remember your landline? Do you remember your home phone number as a kid?
I do.
476-7355 was mine. 812-476-7355. Yeah.
Mine was 867-3839. And so every time I heard Jenny 867-5309, I would always sing my phone number.
But I remember it's funny the things you do. I mean, how long? I mean, that'll probably be forever burned in our brains at this point in time because we called it so much and we use it so much. You'd always give it to somebody. I don't think my cell phone number is going to be burned into my brain. 20 years. No. The minute I change it, I think 3 years later, I'll probably forget it. My home landline phone number, I will remember till I'm 97 and on my deathbed.
Yeah.
Assuming
it's funny when we would go visit my relatives in Minnesota, one of the big things, mom and my aunt would, drop us off at the mall, and mom literally drilled into my head their home phone number. So if I got separated, I could find a payphone and then call and say, here's where I am. Because that was just her big fear. And this was way before anybody even thought about a cell phone. But yeah, I had the area code and phone number burned. I remember theirs still. So yeah.
That's funny.
We remembered numbers then.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I mean, we've talked about it before. Telephone numbers. What? What's her number? I couldn't tell you what your number is, Dodger, and I call you all the time.
That's the other question, though. Can you remember your best friend's phone number?
Oh.
No,
I'm close. I'm really close. I can't quite. Some days it'll pop in, and every once in a while I remember.
I can remember some early girlfriends' numbers. I'm not going to bring them up right now. It seems like I remember.
I'm not going to be calling those later. I wouldn't recommend that.
No, I'm not. Best friend. I don't know. No, I don't think I do.
I got to think about that. That's going to bug me now because I know they're on the tip of my tongue and they're right there, and I just can't quite. Because those are the ones that you would have called most of the time. I mean, yours, obviously. Yeah. You called your own.
I know Kelly's number because it was really close to, because we had a series of them all together at one time. And so that's the reason I remember yours.
Yep.
And because you're so special to me.
That's it. That's the true reason.
Well, let's see. So next week we're getting ready for Mother's Day next week. So we've got an opportunity for you to win over at the website right now. You can actually enter the Moms That Rock contest for flowers for your mom.
And a gift certificate to Food City.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're actually getting two prizes. It's I think it's a $30 gift certificate to Food City, so you can pick up a couple of nice steaks and cook out, and then also get a bouquet or maybe a hanging basket. So
yeah, that'd be perfect. Nothing says I love you, Mom, like a couple of Black Angus ribeyes. That's for sure. As far as I'm concerned.
Rack of ribs, whatever, take care of that.
Yeah.
So that's going on this weekend and all next week. You can enter throughout, through Friday at 5. Next week, we'll pull some winners. Probably talk about them here. Probably put them out here. If not, we'll be in contact with you so that you can get those prizes picked up, or however we're going to deliver those. Anyway, so that's what's going on next week throughout the weekend. Any plans this weekend?
Kelly's moving. She's going to be moving.
Funny you ask.
Boxes. Anybody like boxes?
Right. If you have extra moving boxes, please shoot me a message.
Drop them off at 821 Pineville Road, just to the back door. She'll pick them up later.
People that have pickup trucks, go on vacation here. Man, we'll all help you. You know that. I'm all in. I'll help. Yeah.
No. You actually got to see the place I'm buying yesterday, Scott.
I did. I've always kind of liked it out that way. I don't know if you want to talk about it where it is, but yeah, I'm excited for you.
I'm going to be a Valley girl. moving to Lookout Valley. So
yeah, I always thought right around the Tennessee River right there, it's just, man, spectacular. And the work that they're doing at that area on the other side of the Tennessee River, I don't know what all they're doing there right now, but they're working on it like crazy. Have they thought about moving the lookouts down there at some point, or whatever they're doing? That whole run right around there, and it's close. I mean, does it get busy and backed up with traffic? Yes, but not as consistently and regularly as
the Ridge Cut
or East Brainerd Road. I know half the people that are watching right now probably live out that way, but good golly, how do you get used to it? It's busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
I tell you what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to put a ferry right there that goes across the river. that just goes straight back to the swamp, back to the backside of the radio station. We ferry you across the river. That way you don't even have to worry about traffic. Don't have to worry about going through downtown. Don't have to worry about heading down 27. Just ferry right across the river.
I'll tell you what we're going to do tomorrow is Mason and Adrian, we're going to take a look at the baby, the granddaughter, which is going to be born here right away, like coming up in June. And this is like and I've talked about this before. It is so different than it once was when all my children are being born. Now you walk in, you sit there, and you're watching on the big screen. And
so you're doing the 3D. Oh, that's cool.
We are 3D, and it's this close, so it'll be the features will be vivid, I'm sure. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow.
Well, congratulations.
Take a look at little Adeline right before she's into the world here, so that's cool. I'm looking forward to that.
You both have big, exciting news. Congratulations again on that, by the way. Ed, you guys both have big, exciting news. I've got nothing to match that.
Somebody's a new truck owner.
What?
New truck owner?
Yes.
Me. I am.
What? I know. I saw it today.
Did you? How about that's a big truck, isn't it?
It is a big truck.
It's a diesel truck. Yeah. It was Adrian's folks. They're downsizing. And they're selling this, selling that. Actually, we bought some nice stuff for the pool, some really nice looking iron stuff to put out by the pool. But anyway, he was ready to sell his truck. And my young Mason has just been all about diesel trucks. In fact, now we've all got one. Tanner's got a diesel truck. I've got a diesel truck. And so, yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's a big. I mean, I've driven trucks before, but this one is big. You're like on a big rig when you're blowing down the road. It's kind of cool though. I like it. It's got a camper top on the back, F350. So, and it's loud.
Is that environmentally friendly? Is that like is that like one of those battery powered ones?
You take it through the emissions, and you have to take it to emissions, but they always pass. And they're smoky, and you always wonder how they pass. How do they pass? But they do. They simply pass. It's
like one of those when you hybrid where you sneak up on people really quietly. I'm assuming you just.
Isn't it kind of crazy how many cars are going electric? The Mustang, the iconic Mustang, now is and fast. I mean, and they're fast. That's
the battery runs low.
No doubt. Isn't that kind of amazing, though? Our parting, it really is to me. It really is to me that they're building vehicles now that are like as iconic as the Mustang that are electric, and people that have them are like, man, yeah, and it's fast. And you think, really? It's like we made fun of Mazdas years ago. It's just kind of funny how things are. Technology.
You had one of those too.
Did you have a Miata?
The early days. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know that you were here. Julie goes, yeah, I've been talking to Kelly. I said on the phone. No, she was in the driveway. I go, wow, really? That's kind of crazy. You slipped in and slipped out. I'm glad you found a place though. Congratulations. Yep. I like it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah. Kelly's been renting a place, which is a great house too, by the way. I love that place. And they decided, I guess relatives or whatever, siblings decided to move in the house. So they're like, you got this much time. And right now, I don't know if you've been out searching for homes, but you better act quickly because they go fast.
It is unbelievable. It's just, I mean, you literally have to sit in front of your computer, and as soon as the listing pops up, you look at it, and then you're like, I'm on the phone to Julie going, okay, I want to go see this one. I want to go see this one. It's just amazing. But yeah, we hit it actually right at the perfect time. It's it's a great little house. It's, not too big. It's, all one level. It's got a beautiful fenced in backyard, brand new privacy fence. So that it hasn't even been able to be stained yet, and you can still smell the wood smell. So, yeah, it's really well done. Got a couple things to fix up on it, but yeah, the ball is a rolling, and hopefully closing at the end of May.
Well, enjoy your weekend, packing up and getting ready to go, and sharing. And Dodger, whatever you do it to the best. Do it. Get all in it, okay?
I might go sample Food Truck Alley this weekend. By the way, if you're out, go to Valley Fest. Go visit our friends up in Dunlap. Valley
that's
Fest
right.
is going on this weekend. So if you want to get out and enjoy yourself there.
Well, have a happy Friday, y'all. Good to see you. Good talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy, and we'll see you guys back here next Friday during another happy hour, and of course, back on the radio next time.
Cheers.
Rock and roll.
See you guys.
KZ106 is bringing the fun in 2021 with the return of the 25K Workday Payday. Sponsored by Granite Garage Floors of Chattanooga. Get rules and info online at KZ106.com.